Wow. Woo. What's up, guys? My name is Sean. I'm here with another episode, and I'm here with Lucas
Calou.
Calou.
Yeah, Lucas. Cheers, man.
Professional MMA fighter. This is the second episode I've done on fighting, but I'm really interested with this one today. So we usually start with a shot, and then after that, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Sure.
Are you happy to drink?
Yeah. By the way,
Just-
since it's like shots with Sean,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about MMA. I got something for you, and I think you might want to have shots with this. It's the real proper 12.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you order this?
So yeah, I ordered this like a while ago, but I got two. Don't drink very much, so it's still.
I never drink whiskey, but this
Me
is
too,
definitely...
but I think it would be good for the occasion.
Conor McGregor.
I'm coming, man.
Oh, awesome.
I have no idea how the taste is.
Smell that?
Yeah. Don't understand shit, but let's see.
Lucas, thank you.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Wow.
Woo. That's strong.
It's quite a kick.
It's okay, yeah.
It's good, but awesome. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate the time.
My pleasure.
Basically, yeah, maybe for the people who don't know who you are, maybe you can explain what you do, what's your sport, your background, and take it from there.
Okay, yeah. So I'm a professional MMA fighter, right? I've been fighting my whole life. Started like at 6 years old.
Okay.
I'm good. I started at 6 years old. Did many different like modalities of martial arts. But when I started to get older, my goal was always MMA. About like 14 and shit. So I started at 6 with karate, and then I went to kickboxing. Then the MMA came, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and at the same time, when I was about like 18 or 17, I started to coach. I coach martial arts as well, and that's what brought me to Hong Kong, fighting professionally and coaching martial arts.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed is like a lot of people, when they're younger, they find their own sport and like where their path is. I still find it so crazy that people who take fighting as their path, because as the sport grows, it's getting more and more popular, with UFC, social media, but I still think people underestimate the amount of time and effort and like mental fortitude that goes into it. I always liked it.
Right.
Also, when I was younger, I mean, not even too long ago, I think 2014 or 15, I really started to watch UFC. I'm like, oh, I like this. The moment I got punched in the face, I'm like, oh, maybe it's not for me just yet. I mean, I've had like one fight but that's another level. So if you don't mind me asking, what's the most attractive thing for you for fighting? What makes you want to go back in the cage, keep going?
Fear.
Fear.
I'm like motivated by fear, like the adrenaline that makes me want to do it again, like that, like not only for fighting, for everything, everything that makes me a bit scared. I have that adrenaline. I want to do it. Example, like I haven't done it yet, but skydiving, something that I really want to do it, but because every time I go close to some edge or something, I'm fucking like scared. But at the same time, I want to jump, So I think like I always had that thing that everything that makes me scared, also like I want to do it, So
yeah, I think if people take more of that mindset, I think people will kind of regret later in life when they're older a lot of things that they do. But that's awesome.
Yeah, and you're talking like about the mental aspect, like fighting. Every sport, right? But fighting much more. The mental aspect is so important in fighting. So important. Like, for example, in training, I would say it's like 80% like mental, 20% like 80% like physical, 20% like mental. But when you go for like a real fight, you did it. It's like it's the opposite. It's like 80% like mental, 20% physical. Like you gotta control your fears, and like you're having the other side, the guy that wanna like literally fuck you up. And the guy has been training, so it's like super mental. Like it's good. So I like that part as well.
So when you're prepping for fight camp, maybe take us through like your schedule. How does it work in the sense that you have a certain amount of weeks, right?
Yes.
That you basically prepare for, and like how many times are you training? For example, sparring, conditioning, rest days, whatever it is. How does it look like for Lucas?
Okay, so it's like for very like, let me try to explain a bit of the background. For a very long time, I always like try to train very similar to a like fighting camp, like a training camp. Like not in terms of intensity, you know, but at least in terms like close, like the volume was also like very close, you know. But for example, back in the days, this was not common at all. You know, you used to see like many MMA fighters like okay, they train a lot when they're young, but now they're professionals. They're like just doing like, oh, I have a fight. I just got a fight in 2 months, and then they start the camp. Right after the fight, they stop. You know, like this was like really common. Like until not very long ago, like you know, many UFC champs they used to do that. Of course, nowadays it's not like that. But I was always doing the opposite. You know, I was always training all the time. So when you ask me about like a training schedule, my schedule when I have a fight doesn't change as much. You know, it changes a bit of like the training, the sparring starts to be like a bit more. I start to do more sparring, and the spars start to get a bit more. It depends on which phase of the camp is gonna be a bit more intense. You know, like not very close to the fight. Of course, when you're getting close to the fight, you start to slow down, like in terms of sparring. And but yeah, but like for example, right now my schedule, not right now because of the pandemic, right? But like a normal schedule, like without a fight, and I schedule with the fight, I would say I grapple like about four times a week. Mm-hmm. I do like striking as also like 3-4 times a week. Sparring once or twice per week, and strength and conditioning like twice or 3 times a week. So it's like a never less than 9 sessions, like something around 9 to 12 sessions.
Yeah, I'm
a
trying
week.
to count on my fingers. How many days in a week? 9,
No.
2 days.
9. Like never less than 9, and like around 9 to 12 sessions a week. So,
yeah.
But I mean, for me, it's like my whole life like that.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
long time.
Yeah, that's.
I'm used to.
See, guys, 9 sessions a week. That's how you're gonna get a shredded body. You know? But no, it's good. People need to hear the intensity, and obviously, like when you're in fight camp, the intensity comes up, and then you obviously taper off. You can't really sustain
weight cutting and shit. You know, like when it's close, right? We gotta lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And that phase is like fucked up. You cannot train really hard.
So I've heard this. I've heard it a lot through YouTube and TV and from other fighters. They say sometimes the weight cut is harder than the fight.
By far.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like it is. You know, like let me talk about like normally I like to cut weight in about 3 weeks. I cut about 11 kilos. You know, in 3 weeks. Then yeah. So it's like so this is a good time. You know, like 3-4 weeks. You know, like a month. Let's say a month. You know. But I've done it once. I like back in Brazil. I got a fight in like kind of not short notice, but I tried to cut like the 11 kilos in a very short period. You know, because doing that you can normally you can recover a bit like more, but this didn't make me feel better. You know, so like the way that I perform the best is like cutting about like 3 to 4 weeks. You know, the weight, but I've done it like in like 11 kilos in 11 days.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
So, but like it's like this is incredible. Like guys, you have guys that cuts much more than that. You know, it's like it's insane. It's insane. You gotta know your body. You know, like how much you lose in the sound and everything.
How did you feel? Okay, so when you cut, for example, in any fight camp, the most weight, how did you feel during and after? Like
okay.
Per session?
So I'm always walking around like I walk around like something from 81 to 83 kilos. Never more than 83, never less than 80, I'd say. And so if I do like when I actually start the camp, my weight goes a bit higher, goes up a bit, you know.
So are you eating a bit more?
Eating a bit more, you know, like training more, maybe gain a bit of mass. And then, but like, okay, once I start to cut, I go slowly down. I feel very good. If I do the cuts in the 4 weeks, you know, I feel very, very good. You know, like I start to feel lighter when the weight is going down, like faster. So I cut about from 82. Let's say I start at 82. I will cut like dieting until 77. That's the 76 maybe. That's the maximum I can go.
Okay.
76, and then from there it's just like water.
Wow.
You know, like these water, these last 5-6 years it will. Okay, if I fight on Saturday, the weighting is on Friday. On Monday morning, I'll be 75, 76. You know, I wake up, yeah, so 76. So then this is like just like that. Then we have the you know, like what to eat. That is like just about the weight of food, and there's all the process, you know.
Right.
So if I do like, if doing like this, you feel really very good. But like doing the other way, so after the weigh-in, let's say the weigh-in is on Friday.
Yeah.
I did everything nice. I will probably recover about like 10% of my body weight. So I will go back up to like maybe 77, 78, something around 76 to 78, sometimes 79. But if the time that I did like 11 kilos in 11 days, I went up all the way to 80, you know. But it didn't make me feel good. I was actually like feeling a bit heavy, you know, like weird, you know.
Yeah.
So
you never know what the body's
no,
doing.
you never know. You never know. Yeah.
I was actually speaking to Jeff, and he also talks about, because he has to do bodybuilding shows.
Oh.
Not as aggressive weight cut as you.
Yeah, but it's like.
Yeah.
Very tough, you know.
Yeah.
They have to be like fucking shredded. Right?
They really have to manipulate. And he was talking like, he's like, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I eat carbs, how I'm gonna look. It just depends on the day how you feel. So kind of in that sense, how you feel when you, I guess when you hydrate, you know now with your body, you're gonna feel better if you prepare it for a bit longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting one how you can just manipulate water.
How was it for you? Did you cut weight when you fought?
I didn't cut too much weight, to be fair. Actually, I was underweight, to be fair.
Oh, really?
I was underweight. I was like always, when I'm training, I seem to lose a lot of weight quite quickly because I don't really, for some reason, I'm so focused on training and I don't eat as much.
Okay.
Because it was only white collar, but I had to actually gain a certain amount of weight. I had to be 73, and I was, I think 69 or 70 at the time.
Okay.
So I had to like eat more, and so I remember forcing, and then like just on the weigh-in day, it was like I was like 72.5.
Oh, that's good.
And then obviously it was just water. So
you remind me, like I always fought like 70 kilos, you know, like my whole life, you know. But of course, when I was younger, I was just not cutting weight. You know, I started to fight like professional, like about 16, 15, 16.
Wow.
And then I remember in a fight, I was going to like. You know, I was gonna make weights, and then I was eating like, I was like, fuck man, I'm like 68. What the guy's gonna think about my, you know, he's gonna think like, what the fuck? And I was eating like the 2 days before, like one day and the day of the weigh-in, I was like eating bread, drinking water, and then I went to weigh myself with shoes, like the stomach full of water, and then I stepped on it, like, fuck, I'm gonna be 70, and then 69.8, you know, like, fuck. And the guy was like, in the other side, the guy was like older, and he was like, shred, like shirt, like no shirt, and it was like fuck. Anyways, but in the end it was good. I fucked up, yeah.
That was gonna ask.
It was good.
Well, I wanted to. I think we chatted about when we had dinner the other time. What's your mindset like with like your opponent? If you know your opponent, you know his style. Leading up to it, what's your vibe like? What's your energy? Are you like the friendly type, the respectful type, or are you like, you know what?
Nah,
just stoic, just very blank.
I'm like, that's all. Actually, this is probably the part that I like. One of the parts that I like the most. You know, this mental aspect. I don't. Yes, I just these like friendly shit. You know, like I mean, I'm not just. You know, I don't disrespect the guy, but it's like I'm not trying to be your friend. You know, like this like. For example, like you see a lot of fighters like touching the gloves before the fight. I hate that shit, man. I've done it before, but you know when the guy doing this, like fuck no, man. You know, it's like afterwards you're gonna talk. We can go out for drinks, whatever. But like here, no, it's like a really war. You know, like I grew up like watching every single video of like Ali, every single video of Mike Tyson. You know, every single video of like Floyd Mayweather, like the way that they were talking, like Kobe Bryant, everything. It's all about. It's like it's at the end of the day, it's a competition. It's a fucking fight. You know, everything matters. You know, like when when the guy's like a bit scared of you, it makes a difference. You know, so if I was even like looking back in the days, I mean, talking to my therapist. I have a therapy for fighting. And we're talking about that my best performance, they were actually the fights that I was like very focused, not being nice, But some of my performance that I was just like being, you know, I didn't perform as good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that there's a dynamic difference between how fighters perform in the cage and like I'll use your example, you know, like Dustin Poirier, right? When he fought Conor the first time, and Dustin lost because Conor was in his head.
Totally.
Then the second time, friendly. Dustin seems like a very, you know, in his press conferences, he seems a little bit hesitant or a little bit awkward when he speaks. Even the trash talking, it can't really come out as well. But when Conor was kind of respectful, he was just so calm. But maybe the third fight, he was grown up by then, and then like so.
This is the best example, man. You gave us the best example. Like I think Conor is a guy that fights much better when he's under pressure. You know, when he has all the attention, when he talks shit about his opponents and everything. That's like, how do you say? That's the trigger for him. You know, that's like that. That's what activates him. You know, that's the thing that activates him. But when he fought Dustin Poirier for the second time, he was just being too nice and he just didn't get activated. You know, like you can see even the beginning of it's like too calm. You know, like I think he's a guy that needs to perform under that fucking bad circumstance. You know, like all the pressure on him, trash talking and everything. Like for some people, the trash talking is not even about your opponent. It's not about to make your opponents like worry. It's about you to make you confident. You know? So I think Conor is one of those guys.
It's crazy. There were so many styles, so many different fighters. I wanted to touch upon actually like so styles of trash talk, styles of fighting mentality. What about like, I mean, there's a crossover between wrestling and jujitsu. And from what I've heard now is do you think wrestling is king in terms of the actual technique to bring it in the cage? Do you think, or would you say jujitsu is more important?
So look, okay, I'm from Brazil. No, actually, I'm afraid that people from Brazil like beat me up, you know. But anyways, so like, MMA started in Brazil, you know, like it came from jiu-jitsu, but the old style not the old style jiu-jitsu, but like people back in the days to get a black belt, for example, you know, it was necessary to have like a MMA, like a we call vale tudo. Vale tudo is the old pancration that it used to have in Greece, you know, and restarted the pancration about 70 years ago in Brazil called vale tudo. If I translate for you, vale tudo means like everything goes, you know, everything is allowed. And then afterwards, the vale tudo became the MMA, which is a sport, right? But okay, the Gracie family, they developed the jiu-jitsu not as a martial art, but it was just like trying to beat the other people, the other person, the person in front of them, you know. So they're using everything that they were using. It was like very useful, and the way for them to prove that jiu-jitsu was the most efficient martial art was doing vale tudos, doing MMA fights. However, so at that time, no one knew what jiu-jitsu was. So it was really easy to the Gracie family and the jiu-jitsu practitioners like to beat everyone. But of course, the sports has developed. You know, like everyone started to understand jiu-jitsu, like study jiu-jitsu and everything. So when you now like moving forward all the way to 2020, what is the most important? Jiu-jitsu is fundamental. You know, you have to know. If you don't know, you know, it's just like you have to, you know. So back in the days when no one knew about it, that was the most efficient thing, because if you knew a bit, it would be easy to beat the other guys, you know. But nowadays, since everyone knows, the most important thing will be that guy who controls where the fight happens. Example, if I'm a striker, you're a grappler. But what do I have to do? I have to keep the fight standing. But to keep the fight standing, I need to have a better wrestler than you. My wrestler needs to be better than you, you know, than yours. So wrestling nowadays just became more important because of that. Because if you have the best wrestling, you're the person that controls where the fight goes, you know. But the jiu-jitsu is just fundamental. You need to have. Back in the days, you need, like, Vitor Belfort was a great example. Vitor Belfort was like a boxer with a black belt, like a black belt from Carso Gracie in the ground. But his wrestling was not necessarily like a very good, but it just like to expose it. Many guys became champions like that. Nowadays, it just doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, yeah. So that word actually control the fight.
Yes.
I guess now you see, like, obviously with Khabib and then Islam Makhachev, Hamzat, they can control that fight because they have that in their arsenal.
Yes. So they like there are like great examples. Like Khabib is different because Khabib did a lot of like judo and sambo. Judo and jiu-jitsu, they're very close. But Hamzat was a guy that wrestled the whole life. But when he started to do MMA, he was like, I watched some of like his coach interviews, like saying that he was basically leaving at the gym, you know, like literally leaving at the gym because he needed to learn, you know, the ground game, because he had the grappling already, but he needed to adapt, you know, like he's grappling to MMA and vice versa, you know. Wow. So and about the jiu-jitsu, the old jiu-jitsu was very like close to MMA, but nowadays you have the sports jiu-jitsu, which is very far from MMA. So also another reason that wrestling became like more important, I would say, in MMA.
That's crazy. Yeah. But for me, I think striking is the coolest.
Hey, striking is cool.
It just looks cool.
You like hitting someone in the face?
Yeah, like hitting pads or hitting someone. It's like, even when you like crack something, like, ooh. Because it's almost like, because I played football all my life, and when you strike a ball and you feel that you strike the ball and you hit it perfectly and it hits the goal or the post, sometimes you don't even feel like you're using so much power. It's just that technique. Yeah. Same thing like when you crack someone with a nice shot, like you're just waiting, you're seeing this and you go pop, and you're like, hey, I didn't even use that much power. I just like that bit of striking. The technique of when you can find that movement in such a small split second, and obviously you're so good at it because I've seen your videos and seen you box before.
Thanks.
It's just so nice. It's like watching, for example, how do you get an example? You look at like Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo. Those guys are so cool. Or Neymar from Brazil. He's just so cool to watch when he plays football. And then I look at a striker. Who's like one of the cool strikers? I think Conor McGregor striking is so nice. Yes. It's just like beautiful.
Stephen Thompson, Adesanya.
Yeah. So you see them, you're like, I always cross over with football. I'm like, technique, man. It's so nice.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what I feel personally.
Even the knockouts, you know, like you said, it's like the precision. You know, not really about the power, just like the precision. You know, like when you touch that point, you feel it. You know, like I got it. You know, even when you're doing the pad, sometimes you hit like a certain area of the pad, and it's like, fuck, I got the points. You know. Have you ever like knocked somebody out or got knocked out?
I've been wobbled before.
But like
sparring. Not like proper knocked out. I think I've been dropped before, body shots for sure.
Yeah.
But not knocked out.
Yeah.
Not knocked out. Have you?
Once, yes. Like one of my back in Brazil, the guys that I learned the most, he fought for Bellator. You know, I trained with him since I was like very, very young. And his name is Carlos Índio. Great fighter, you know, like really, really great fighter. So anyways, like he's heavier than me. He used to fight 84. So like he was like walking around like 90, 91, but he used to train together all the time. Like he was one of my mentors, you know. And we're doing boxing one day, and I was like moving the head. He was a great striker, like complete fighter. And I was moving my head here, and I was like every time that I was throwing the right hand, I was throwing my right hand here, you know. Yeah. But he's like fucking experienced, you know. He saw that, so he was like just following me, you know, like pop, and as soon I did this. He throws the right hand, but instead he throws the right hand here, like straight to my face. He throws on the side, you know, because he knew that I was moving the head on that side. Just like this, you know. So it was my head against his punch, you know, but it wasn't that strong. I mean, of course, he's a big guy, you know, but dude, it took on my chin. I was using headgear, but like I used like a very small headgear, you know, only here, very thin, you know, but this area was open, you know, so it took to my chin. Look. The gym was like, imagine this is the gym, okay? And there's the wall here, there's the wall here. And I was close to the wall, you know? He got my chin. So I'm here, you know? I don't know how long later, but I just remember my coach. I woke up. I was waking up with my coach taking off my mouthpiece, and I was like, "What the fuck? What happened? What happened? What did just happen?" Look, you did it. I just like feel very light, you know. It's a weird feeling, you know. But anyway, that was the only time in my life that I got KO. Yeah. But anyways, just like no power, like you're saying, no power. He just touched. He saw my head going that way like once or twice, and he just did on the side. Took to my chin, you know.
It's the two spots, right? Is it the chin and the temple that can knock you
So yeah, so the temple will make you like, you know, when you see the guys wobble when they lose their legs, that's the temple, you know. The chin is gonna
pushes the brain back.
Yes, exactly.
Man, that's incredible. And the only thing that I can kind of recognize from like getting knocked out, have you ever fainted before?
Not really.
I've fainted a few times, man, and I'm like, I remember one time I was with my parents. I was going for I need to go for a piss. and all I remember was like about to go for a piss, and then I wake up like my back is against the toilet and the seat is broken.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
But did you feel any pain?
I only felt pain when I woke up and I'm like, why is my back so sore? And I'm like, dude, I fucking fainted. Like, I just don't remember me falling even. I just remember like going like this. I'm like, and then I wake up.
Your body just like literally relaxed, right?
Yeah.
I think it's similar, you know, like your body, I woke up so fucking relaxed, man. I just got punched for like a motherfucker to the face. I woke up like, you know, I was dizzy for like an hour or two, you know, like, but it was like, I was fucking high. Okay, that's the word. I was high. Yeah, I was high. Yeah.
Have you had surgery before, right?
Yes.
It's not like anesthetic, right? Anesthetic is a bit. Anesthetic, you miss a lot of parts.
Okay, afterwards, yes, kind of. Okay. But afterwards, you know, after you get knocked down, kind of, yeah. Okay. Because you're confused, you know, like you're high, you're confused. You don't know what is true, what is not true. I remember that I was waking up, but I was like, where am I? How did I get here? I didn't remember how I got at the gym, you know. I was like, why? So it's this type of thing. You're a bit confused. Let's see, I see.
The thing is, when you get knocked out, for people who for casual fans who think they can actually fight, sometimes it's a very I think it's a scary thing for them, because if they don't know, like people when they drink alcohol or they're on some sort of substance, they get very confident. I'm sure you've seen it growing up, street fights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was more education on it, of people and understanding of the consequences of fighting, especially in the street fight, because if you get knocked out, hit yourself in the concrete, you could be like paralyzed.
You can die, man.
You can die.
Like, imagine someone like getting a takedown, like a double, like lifting the guy up. Hey, it's seriously, you can easily die.
Yeah.
So it is dangerous, you know.
I think it should be more people should go into martial arts so they can realize and get a little bit of a taste and think, okay.
You can't control every fighter, every person. I mean, you can say, every person that had an experience like fighting, you can control yourself much more. Yeah. You know, I fought a lot on the streets when I was younger, you know, but after starting to fight professionally, it happened many times that people trying to fight me, like clubs, like on the streets.
Why is that though?
I mean, situations, you know, situations that people trying to fight, even here in Hong Kong once, you know. My fight in Macau, I was cutting weight in Discovery Bay. Look at this, I was cutting weight in Discovery Bay 4 or 5 days before the fight. So imagine how stressed I was, you know, it's like fucking hot. I was running at the beach, and then I was like, I have to buy some water. And then I went to buy some water, and I was walking, I was like shirtless and like using sunglasses, and I was like just looking like this, and then suddenly I bumped the guy, you know, and as soon as I bumped the guy, I was, oh, I'm very sorry, man, sorry, and then the guy holds my arm. What the fuck? I was like, I'm sorry, man, I didn't see you. Why you don't look where you walk? I was like, man, I'm sorry. Look, and then he kept holding my arm, and he kept talking shit, and and then I was like, I'm sorry, man, you know, like, I didn't see you and everything. Is like, look, you need to look where you walk. Do you want to fight? And then he started to ask me, do you want to fight? He was about he had like a long beard, and then he had like a big gray beard. So I would say he was on his 45, I don't know, 40s, 50s. But he was like a tall guy, you know, very fit guy. And then he was like looking, he was like, and then after like maybe a minute, imagine a minute, the guy talking shit. Yeah, it was quite long. And then I hold him back, and I say, dude, I'm leaving, okay? Bye, I'm leaving. Cheers. And then I laughed, you know. And then I was happy that I control myself, but at the same time, afterwards, you know, the blood's like, it was like, fuck, man, you know, like I was thinking like, man, I made this guy's life, like this guy's day, you know, this guy's now going back. I made that motherfucker, you know, like look like shit. But anyways, so I could control myself, you know. So it happened a couple times in Brazil. So it's the best thing to do. Imagine if I would have done something, you know. I would probably go to jail. Yeah. I would be deported of Hong Kong, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's people like that. It's really hard to like just not get under your skin and just be calm and be cool and calculated, especially if you're having a fight and stuff. I would have lost it. Like, get the fuck out of my face, man. There's a lot of people, that's what I'm saying, there's a lot of people who have this fake sense of like ego and like bravado that they think that they can take on someone. Like, dude, you don't know who is a fighter these days. You don't know, like, you could get like mauled. Like, dude, people obviously there are weight classes and people heavier than you, but you just never know someone who's experienced versus not,
Yeah.
and you could be stuck in a really bad situation. You're just like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and not only this, I don't know. I mean, not Hong Kong. Hong Kong is fucking
Yeah.
safe. But like you asked me about jiu-jitsu, right? Like jiu-jitsu back in the days, man. The history of jiu-jitsu. First of all, jiu-jitsu, like a lot of people they don't know, but jiu-jitsu, the Gracie family, they came from like quite rich family. Jiu-jitsu is really expensive, like very expensive back in the days. Like 90s, 80s. So only rich people they could do it. Like and then, but anyways, these people. They are the same people that go for clubs, like Saturday nights, this type of thing. So when the jiu-jitsu started to grow, a lot of fights between the teams, like we call creonte. Do you know what creonte means?
What is it?
Creonte means, this is very like a slang in jiu-jitsu. For example, you train with me, we represent Nova União. I'm from Nova União in Brazil. So and then you leave me and then you're going to train at Gracie Barra or another team.
Okay.
So everyone will call you creonte.
Like traitor.
Yeah, like a kind of. Yeah, this was like, man, fucked up. Like nowadays it's common. As the sport. Some people they still don't like it, but it's much more common. Like it's normal. But anyways, so these back in the days, it used to, when it was happening, man, you couldn't see your former team because you were going to get beat up. I'm talking like a long time ago. People are going to the clubs. I was young. I remember that I was young and I was hearing these stories. I was already training. I was just hearing these stories. I was like, oh. And then, but people were going to the clubs to kind of like see each other and just like have fights. Like you can see if you type like Rickson Gracie fights on the at the beach, Rio de Janeiro. You see many, like clubs. The Gracie family, like. But back in the days, it was a way people were fighting, but. Between fighters, but it was kind of like a fun way, But like Brazil, a lot of people have guns, So as the things progress, as the years went by, you just cannot do it anymore. Not only because if the other guys are fighting, like I said, the fighters used to do between them, but just because the other guy might have a gun, you might lose your life for like nothing. Yeah, it's just like it's not worth it.
It's crazy. Like that's the thing. Hong Kong and then Brazil.
Yeah, it's completely different.
I traveled to Rio for the first time in 2012. I remember. It was so fun. I was traveling through South America. I think we started in Brazil. I think we went across from west to east of South America, and we went out one night. And I was like maybe 18 or 19, and I was a bit drunk and stuff. And we walked in under this bridge, and like it was like kind of Wan Chai area. It looked like Wan Chai.
Yeah.
Like similar vibe. Didn't look like it. A lot of people, and then there were like a lot of these like kids, like favela children there. And I just walked through, and I remember like I think 4 of them like circled me, and like started like trying to take my stuff, and I tried to put my hands in my pocket, and basically I got like a few hits. I think I got knocked down, and like they ripped my t-shirt, and somehow I swung at one guy, and I just started to run away. And I remember I saw my friend got his watch stolen from far, and he got hit in the back of the head. And I was like, ooh, no, this is like reality.
It's stuff. Brazil is amazing, but this is like the bad parts of Brazil.
But I kind of wish I had at the time, because I didn't know anything about fighting. I kind of wish I would at least kind of defend myself with the shots or something.
Actually, it was. If they hit you, it's because they didn't have anything.
Yeah.
They were probably kids like trying to get something for you and like trying to have fun. I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like the guys that want to steal you something in Brazil, they're very fucking professional. Unfortunately, it's sad to say. I got stolen many times. Like they just stop your car. Like they come very nice to you. I remember one time, the guy said. Like I was going back from school, and I was walking. In Brazil, for example, a lot of one of the reasons that many tourists in Brazil they get these things happen is just because you need to know certain things in Brazil. Example, you walk on the street, even if it's a good area, you just don't use your phone like this all everywhere. Like these things that you're spoiled here in Hong Kong. These things that doesn't happen in Brazil. So you need to know certain things. If you go to visit Brazil, you went to Brazil, you go to the best place, the best areas. It's fucking nice. It's fine. But you just need to know certain things. Like I said, you're going through Rio, for example. Rio, you have the south area of Rio, which is the most expensive, the nicest area. But at the same time, you have some favelas nearby. So once you're getting closer to that area, you need to pay attention how you dress. What you have in your pockets, what you hold in your hands. So So we know these things in Brazil, you know, like, so we just like keep everything in our pockets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like put on the pants, you know. We just don't go out like this, you know.
Got it. Makes sense. Makes sense.
So yeah, but anyways, by the way, I forgot. So going back here, I was going back from school, and it was like 4 5 p.m. I was walking. I was very close to home, man. And then when you see that, okay, this is a good advice for you guys. If you go to Brazil, and you're walking, now they're using motorcycles, but if you walk and you see two guys in a bicycle, and you see the way they look, some cap and everything, run. Or just go away, get inside a shop, because the probability they try to do something on you is very high if you walk on the street. Yes, exactly. So anyways, I was walking here, and then it was in the corner, you know, the corner of two streets, and I was like, when I was going here, they turned right. As soon as I saw them, I was like, fuck, it's gonna happen. I was like about 14, 15, you know, and it was not my first time. And then they came to me, come on, man, come on. They say celular carteira, like cell phone and wallet. And then I was like, oh, here. And I gave my wallet. And then I wanted to give my phone. I had a new phone for my mom, you know. And then he's like, give me your cell phone. And then I did this, and he got my phone. And then as soon as he got my phone, and I was like, man, please, can you just give me the chip? Can you just give me the SIM card? And he's like, okay. And then he walked, seriously, true story. And then he took off my SIM card, he gave me back, and then he left. Can you see these type of things? It's funny, but it's like you're so used to this shit. Yeah. So
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, not funny, but
not that. Yeah, I mean,
sense, yeah.
It's like so bad.
Common that
said,
like,
become yeah. Yes.
It reminds me of a story that my mom told me, because also in India, it's very corrupt. Like it's super corrupt. Like people are very nice there, but like one time, I don't know if the story is true, but she's told me this many times. There was a robber that came into her house. And like he came in to obviously try and steal something. Now, the difference between Indians and Brazilians are a very like well cultured, they're athletic, they're sporty, they're amazing at everything. Indians, they're not very like, you know, maybe that like robbers in India are not that maybe like aggressive.
Okay.
Or they maybe can't really like go with it because they're maybe not technically good or gifted. But it was so funny. Apparently the robber came into the house and then they caught him. And then my mom's brother, my uncle, like took a bat. He's like, oh, like you fucking like hitting him, and he's like, you fucking like trying to steal our stuff. And like apparently he was sitting with a cricket bat, and he looked like he was bleeding. He was like gonna die or something, or get like really injured. And then my mom's like, no, stop, like stop it. Then like we stop it, and then like believe it or not, he's like sitting in their living room and he's having orange juice, and he's like take care of him, and they're like they're taking care of him, and then he's like oh, so you go to jail, and then like giving him like treats and stuff to like make him recover.
But like in India, do you have these type of things that like walk on the street to someone come and do these things, or just?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's as common. I don't think it would be like Brazil. I don't think the people are, for example, I don't think they're ballsy enough. I don't think they have the confidence to do that. But I'm sure it happens. I'm sure there's some looting going on.
But it's not something, for example, that you need to be worried as you walk on the streets and this type of thing.
No, not from the city that I'm from, at least.
I see.
I think maybe I think you're a lot safer. Yeah, for sure.
I see.
So, but there's still a lot of corruption and stuff that's there. But I haven't been back in years.
I was about to ask you, how often do you go back to India?
Last time I went was 2015. Okay. And that was in Goa. That was not even like.
Yeah, I wasn't still here. I was still back in Brazil.
Yeah. So I will probably go back. I think when all.
Do you have relatives there?
On my mom's side, yeah.
Okay.
In Mumbai, so that's where basically all my father's side, they all kind of migrated to here, but it's all on my mom's side. So in Bombay.
Do you like it? You like India?
I do like it. It's different. The energy of people there is a lot nicer than here. I think so. You know, here people are very subdued. They're kind of a little bit robotic. They're a little bit more friendly, more open. So I noticed that also in Brazil. I noticed that like when I went to Brazil, I went there twice. Cool. And then the second time I went was in Sao Paulo for football. They're just so friendly there.
Yeah, it's true. Brazilians are very friendly. And I was going to say, you went to like São Paulo is famous for people being not as friendly.
Yeah, but
it's just because like São Paulo is the Hong Kong of South America.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's like a huge city. You know, it's the biggest city in South America. So like a really rush. you know, like money, this type of thing. So like people is not as friendly as the rest of Brazil, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're saying that, that's great, you know.
It's different. I don't know.
All my Brazilian friends, from São Paulo, I love you guys, but it's true.
I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like I always feel like even growing up here and all the Brazilians, like I seem to get along with them so well. Even if it's me learning from them from a sport basis, from a friendship basis, they all seem so like, you know, like very kind, but also they're so gifted and they're so good at what they do. Like I can even name on the top of your head. Obviously, you are one example, great at fighting. Like Jeff, who I work with, so good at like bodybuilding, and then like the footballers that I play with, I'm like, wow, like it's just like you can just tell the difference of like technical ability with the ball and without the ball. I'm like, damn. But it's nice. It's a good sprinkle for Hong Kong. I think so. So yeah.
It's a good place, man. Brazil is a good place.
Oh, I think I'll go there again for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%.
I'm looking forward to go, man. To be honest, you know, like it's past. We were talking the other day, right? You're supposed to go to travel, but you needed to cancel, right? So
we were gonna go to, obviously I was gonna go to Europe in December.
But you had to cancel it.
But right now, we were thinking Thailand. You know.
Thailand, yeah, me too, man. Yeah. So, but hopefully I will go back to Brazil around July.
Okay.
Looking forward, man, like to feel that, to
Yeah.
see people,
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
to see my family and shit, but like also to have that Brazilian thing, you know.
You were gonna go, right? Because you were gonna have a few fights there. Right?
So yeah, my plan, I'm thinking. So the plan is I go to Brazil, have a fight in Brazil, see the family and everyone, and then from there go directly to the U.S.
Okay.
Spend some time in the U.S. Try to get a fight in the U.S.
Yeah.
So.
I wanted to actually ask you. I mean, obviously, coming to the end of this, what's your do you have basically like a small 5-year plan of what you want to do with your career fighting?
Yes, man. That, I mean,
in your head, or
yeah, for sure. Actually, my focus was always fighting, but after coming to Hong Kong, the second and third, like for 3 years, I kind of not went away from fighting, but I had a lot of cancellations and for competitions, and we started the gym Phoenix and everything, so it was a bit hard to conciliate and to balance, but now I'm completely focused on fighting. Unfortunately, the pandemic, first my knee surgery, I had a knee surgery, and then the pandemic kind of stopped us, but I mean, completely focused on, so in the next 5 years, compete as much as possible, and reach the highest level, man. Yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for you. I think you'll get there, especially from the start of the podcast, what you said about fear and stuff. Most people don't have the mindset. I think even if you succeed or you fail, at least you tried, right?
Yes.
And that's the best thing.
It's imagine you looking when you're 40, let's say not 40 because you have UFC champions at 40, right? But I would say 50, 6, and then you look back. Fuck, I was good at this. I could have done it, but I don't want to have any regrets about that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Cool, guys. I think that's a wrap. Done.
Cheers, man.
Done.